came in like a thief, and you stole the crown. Your lies keep piling up, and we watch them weigh you down. The fear and greed that you stole, they run the whole fucking show. But we are not afraid, and we will not let go. The bigots rise, and you fan the flames. You build an empire of fear and pain. You're hand in hand with the billionaire scum, selling out this country while you play dumb. Burn it all down! Tear the walls apart! We will not bow! We will not lose heart! We will put an end to the hate! We will put an end to your lies! We will stand side by side! And we will You think these cages are built for the poor and for the weak, for the families torn apart while you laugh and tweet? Look at the puppets dance to the corporate sound, but we are still here and we will stand our ground! There's blood on your hands! We have seen the truth erased! You put the prophets first! Instead of the people you've displaced. History is watching, and it won't soon forget. It may not be you this time, but you could soon be next. Burn it all down, tear the walls apart. We will not bow, we will not lose heart. We will put an end to the hate, we will put an end to your lies. We will stand side by side, and we will rise! War! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Lies on the screen from the deadline machine! Burn it all down! They killed the American dream! Go blame an escalator, a tower built on decay. Smiling like a tyrant while the world fades away. Fear and hate is the name of your game. Divide the people and shift all the blame. The truth is dead, you sold them for fame. History won't forget your name. Fake empire, built on greed. Fascist clown, watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! Broken to cases! You've got blood on your hands! Worship the dollar while you ignore our demands! We storm the gates! Our rage is fueled by your lies! We will sit back and watch as your empire crumbles and dies! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead, you sold it for fame! History won't forget! Nay, nay! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! You build walls! We break them down! You spread lies! We burn this down! You breathe fear! We fight fight back. Hardcore counterattack. Fake empire going down. No more kings for the crown. Justice call. Hear the sound. Rise up now and stand your ground. All out. Promises right. Promises right. On a gilded stage, demanding the people, fueling the rage. Walls built high, but compassion's low. Truth buried deep beneath the show. No more lies! No more deceit! We will bow down! We will retreat! Voices loud! We stand as one! The fight's not over! It's just begun! It's just begun! Families torn at the borderline. Justice denied, time after time. Prophet's soul on the planet burns. When will we learn? When will we learn? No more lies, no more deceit. We will bow down, we will retreat. Voices loud, we stand as one. The fight's not over. It's just begun! It's just begun! It's just begun! Resist the power and break the chain! Rise above all this hate and this pain! Together we're strong, we won't divide. In our unity we will find our pride. The fight's not over. It's just begun. The fight's not over. It's just begun. The fight's not over! It's just begun! The fight's not over! It's just begun! The fight's not over! Whispers turn to battle cries. The truth is dead, been fed to lies. They sell us lies in the name of peace. What justice rots beneath the leash. They write the laws just to serve the few. We bleed beneath the red, white, and blue. But freedom's fire still burns inside, where truth and treason often collide. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. No peace without the will to fight. No dawn without the choke in the courts of life, and American justice lags a decade behind. So strike the drum and light the flame. Each beating soul will rise again. The people's wrath is a sacred flood. The soil drains deep the martyr's blood. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. Not for glory, not for gold, but for the stories that were never told. For every voice that they tried to drown, we will plant the flag and hold our ground. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't resist. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must grow with the blood that only the brave know. And if we should fall, then we fall as one beneath the rising blood-red sun. The tyrants will fall and the people will rise, because freedom never truly dies. They build their towers in the sky, hoarding wealth while the workers die. Billionaires with blood-stained hands, trampling lives to expand their brand. They say they earned it, they say it's fair, but they only take while we despair. Their pockets are fat and their hearts are cold. Working ourselves to death makes them more bold. But now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. The system is rigged, it's all just a game. The rich pull the strings, the poor take the blame. Wealth hoarders live in mansions, the people live in chains. The billionaires don't care, they cash in on our pay. Luxury is a cage that's been built on the back of the common workers that they keep under attack. But we the people, we've had it rough. Their empire is fragile, we've had enough. And now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lies, and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you oligarchs whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. No more silence, no more living in fear, no more being divided, no more broken man's tears. Don't try to keep us down. You are not our king. In every city and every town, let motherfucking freedom ring. Because the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lies and we know the deal. You hoard your wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. We signed up to fight for freedom, not to be the boots on the necks of Americans. You used us, you lied to us, and now we're coming to square the account. Get fucked and die mad about it! Admit Attention 360, bitch! We wear the scars, we bear the pain. We watched our friends die in blood and blade. You said that we fought for liberty, but we came home to fight hypocrisy. You turned a rifle around our peace. You crushed dissent, you unleashed police. You sent us in just to guard your throne. You turned the streets into a combat zone. No one walks alone. Not in this fight. We are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. You armored up and sent the troops to beat down kids in protest groups, to guard the banks, protect the suits so that they can't keep us under their boots. You wave the flag like it's a threat, but we remember every single bet that you left to rot, alone and discarded, while CEOs got golden parachute parties. One walks alone, not in this fight. We are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. To every citizen still asleep, wake the fuck up! To my fellow veterans, remember your oath! Our freedom is dying right beneath our eyes! The people in charge tell us nothing but lies. The common people starve while billionaires see, and we're the ones tossed out in the street. Let's save the rich, let's make them pay their share. Pay their taxes is a burden they can bear. Make billionaires right again! Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. No one walks alone. Not in this fight, we are the light. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true. We are the same. No one walks alone. I got something for you. Hang on to your asses. Towers, velvet ropes, behind the mask, a vulture chokes, power suits and dirty hands, wag the dog in desert sands, victims screaming into voids while kings play gods with broken toys, airbrush lies on every screen. What the hell does justice mean? Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free, blood on the floor, hurt trooping chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? You built your throne on broken laws. Now you're scared, you know what you saw. Silence bought with piles of cash. Erase the files, burn the trash. Martial law for damage control. Draft the board to hide your soul. Wanna light the world on fire just to dodge the electric wire. History is a loaded gun. Tick, 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 you better run. Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free. Blood on the floor, hurt trooping chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? Your kingdom shakes with every name. You'll kill us all to dodge the brain. this ain't conspiracy, it's confession. Hidden in plain sight, full suppression. You laugh while the system bleeds, but the streets remember what you need. Truth, there's a crime. You just spare the time. When the lights come my head, your ass is mine. Locked room, VIP. No more secrets, no more gates. Dragged across your marble floor. Truth is kicking down your door. I said I'm young and believe the vow. Stars and stripes, I wear them now. Trained to fight and trained to lead. Wore the flag like it was all I need. I went to war, that was my goal. Buried brothers filling bullet holes. Did what I had to cause that was the cost. I came home proud but broken and lost. The other party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. They wrapped their lives in red, white, blue, but the blood on my hands was never for you. It was never for you. They said freedom, they said truth, but fed me hate since I was a youth. Republican dreams, conservative pride, just uniforms for the greed they hide. Where were they when the VA failed? When my friends came home and we all derailed? Where were they when we screamed in pain? Too busy chasing power and gain. All the party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. You bring support, you wave your flags while you turn your backs on body bags. Don't turn your back on the fallen. You say that I betrayed you. I bled for this country. What did you ever do? You cheered for war. Then you ran from the wounded. I see who the traitors really are now! I gave my all, you gave me lies. Soldiers die while your empire thrives. Call me woke, call me lost. You never paid the fucking cost. And the party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. I fight again, not for your pride, but for every soul you left behind. The party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. Justice ain't red, justice ain't blue. It's the truth, and it's coming for you! Marching down the street with your MAGA flags, being serpents' lies while you're waving that rag. Screaming freedom while you chain the weak. It makes me sick every time you speak. Beneath your cross, beyond your screen, you sold your soul for a fascist dream. Keyboard warrior that don't know pain, a cultist clown whose leader's insane. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution. But you lick the boots, you're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us, you're a fucking disease. You live in fear, spend life on your knees. Try to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You fake your fate, now you choke on the dead. The party of law and order, but you storm the hill. You back the blue except when you're out to kill. You wave a gun in your neighbor's face. Fake ass patriot, you're a fucking disgrace. History watch while you took your stand. We saw what you did all across this land. American patriots don't kneel to a king. You're a fucking sin sucking that cinnamon ring. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution. But but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to hold the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. You traded your hood for a MAGA hat. The mark of the beast, you believe in that. You don't believe the words that you shout. You chant just to drown out the doubt. You were born to lose and you still started this game. The fire is coming and we are the flame. We're gonna tear it down, bury it 6 foot deep, and we'll never forget that you're a shit. You are a king, not a constitution. You break control, not a revolution. But you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. One, two, three, 4, 26, 47. Makes NGOs and louder bases boast. He stokes the fire, civil reason dies, and feeds the walls of mountain loyal hosts. He plays the strong and bladders for a ghost. The sirens feast and tear freedom trust down. His throne is built on smoking shit posts. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Let liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He scores people who bled for law and land, and praises the mob that stormed the sacred floor. A coward's grin, a scepter in his hand. He chooses chaos, shatters every door. His pledges rock the meaning nevermore. He traded the truth of treason, gained renown, and still he begs for power, blood, and war. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, let liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand him, not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He turns his back while tyrannies grow bold. He whispers secrets where the hawk should warn. And all for what? Some towers fake and gold. A name embalmed in scandal, loud and worn. No honor here, just falling to be mourned. A fraud and silken jester in a gown. The cost was out for shame, he won't adorn. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Lady liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down.
Now it's time for the throw punch! Yeah. What's up, Jordan?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm doing well. How are you today? It's been an awesome day here in Kansas City.
Right? Yeah. So, quick question.
Yes, sir.
This afternoon, I was digging around, I was trying to find a couple good pictures to make myself a nice little splash banner. And I noticed she had an Air Force uniform on, and it had like a bunch of stripes all over the place, like 1 or 2 up and then like 80 down. What
Right.
rank
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, I'm a retired master sergeant from the United States Air Force. So, in relation to the Army, I'm an E7 in the Army, and E8 is a master sergeant.
All right. I never could, like, I knew like 1, 2, and 3, and after that, I was like,
Honestly, I kind of wish that was the way my career had stayed. I had a lot more fun as a junior enlisted person than I ever did as a senior non-commissioned officer.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. The E4 Mafia.
Oh man, I was in the E4 Mafia for just a hot second. That was what I got for reading books and promoting. But it's the Air Force. They force you to read whether you want to or not. I'm grateful for it. I would never exchange my time with the Air Force for anything. It was the best decision I ever made, for sure.
Yeah. And how long were you in for?
Just under 16 years. Closer to 15 and a half, but it's hard to say that on a business card, so we just say 16. Yeah.
Just round it one way or the other. Who cares?
Exactly. Just under 16 is same as 15 and a half, but around 15 and a half years. What if I was like 15 and a half months?
Yeah.
No, it was about a decade and a half of my life, and best decision, like I said, I ever made. But PTSD took me out just before the 16-year anniversary, and I'm proud to say I'm alive and I'm here today. I'm a 3-time survivor of self-harm brought on by combat trauma, and a 2-time survivor of military sexual assault. So you don't hear stories like mine. Because often they're never discussed, and also folks who have gone through the experiences that I have normally are not on this side of the screen anymore.
I'm glad to have you with us, and I'm glad to hear that you've been able to overcome what was stacked against you.
I appreciate that. I tell that story across the country. I've told that to Wounded Warriors programs. I've told that to diversion courts. I'm a practicing attorney today. While I was in the Air Force, I was a biomedical engineer. But then when I left, I was burnt out on healthcare. So I thought to myself, why not find something easier? So I went to law school.
Wow.
It was terrible. It was a horrible decision, but it was a dream. I always wanted to make that happen. And I figured if I had to hang up my uniform, I knew that my oath wasn't going to ever expire. And so how could I defend the Constitution? How could I stand up for my community still? I was feeling the fatigue of healthcare. So that's where I went on to constitutional law and started practicing here at the Missouri Attorney General's office.
I tell you, it's something to go from biomedical and then, law school is a step down, right? It's like that. Those are both tough hills to climb.
They were very tough to climb, but I'd always wanted to be an attorney since I was a little kid. I got to meet my senator when I was in 3rd grade. His name was Ben Nelson from the state of Nebraska. And I remember going home and telling my grandmother that I wanted to be a senator like Ben Nelson. And she kind of looked at me like that loving, maternal, kind of Latina grandmother way. She said, "Oh, mijo." Family. Yeah, just like that. We don't come from that kind of a family. You're going to have to find something else. And so I remember the first time my dream was crushed. And I remember going back to my mom and my grandmother in high school and saying, I know what I want to do in college. I said, I want to get a history degree or a political science degree. And both of them Latinas. They're like, that's not a job. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. No one's going to hire you if you have a history degree. So I thought, like, okay, well, you killed my 2 dreams. Might as well go to the Air Force. And you know what happened? I turned 30 years old. I got that. I already had the degree in biomedical technology. But then I earned that second degree in political science, and then the third one in U.S. military history, focusing on battle and strategy. And that's what propelled me into a life of law.
Excellent.
Thank
And
you.
then, so it was fulfillment of the childhood ambition to turn into politics after all.
Very much so. Yeah. It was always, and I felt maybe a little ashamed of saying this before, but I don't anymore. I've been training for this opportunity. And I thought to myself, is that a good thing to say or not? And then I recognized, no, I'm military. You train for the fight you're going to be in.
Right.
You prepare yourself, you do it years in advance, and that's what I did. I went to college, I earned degrees in not only political science, but also how to orchestrate, operate in battle and strategy within our United States military. Furthermore, I put the little cherry on top and I earned a law degree. Now, my concentration in law school is actually in technology and entrepreneurial law, not even constitutional law. But that's what I practiced at the Missouri AGO. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about what that entails?
What's that?
So not much then. Just not a lot. Not a lot.
Just some leisurely reading here and there. Just flip
light reading. Light reading.
I love your background, Doug, by the way.
Oh yeah, thank you. This is the conversation starter right here, man. This is the
I
one.
like the response. It's good. It's good. There are only 2 posts that President Trump has ever taken down. The one where he made the Obamas look like apes, and the second one was the one where he just feigned his impression to look like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
a doctor?
A doctor.
A doctor.
How do you get Jesus Christ?
Draped in white with a red sash and beams of light coming out of his hands.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get there? That's just reaching. I mean, so Caroline Levitt called it today. Must be reaching to think that's supposed to be Jesus. I mean, come on,
really? Oh my gosh! Isn't it just how convenient it is that they see heresy or blasphemy right in their faces, and all of a sudden they can't speak to it?
Yeah.
I remember my faith informing me as a Catholic that we don't worship false idols, and yet every time I hear the Republicans talk, they talk about Dow Jones being over 50,000 points at one time, and then now they talk about Donald Trump is infallible and can do no wrong, and he's been lifted up by himself as a deity-like figure, and instead of condemning the action, using a face structure that over 1 billion people enjoy across the planet, instead they kowtow and they bend over and they say, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And it shows you the values that they hold dear, that they're so willing to bend them to please one man's ego.
It's wild to see it. And I just saw a report today. Among the billionaire class, over $433 million has already been spent on the midterm elections. Only one of those billionaires was donating to Democratic-leaning candidates. Everyone else was leaning toward pro-wealth, large tax structures that are going to preserve large wealth groups and the wealthiest families of America. They're all leaning toward the MAGA movement because that's what serves them best.
Absolutely. It's at the end of the day, all they care about is preserving that structure.
Oh, no, you're muted.
My bad. Quick shout out to the band Sepsis in our Facebook comments. I'm a big fan. Let's do some stuff.
That's what's up.
I've been trying to get them on the live stream for like a year.
Nice.
That's what's up. So I'm trying to let everybody else get in because I've interviewed you maybe 6 times now.
Quite a few.
4,
yeah.
5.
I've been running for 14 months already.
Right.
What's up with that, Doug?
What's really going on?
So
That's really going on.
I was the one that tried to get him here, and
I know. And
this place was so booked. See, my place isn't as booked as yours. I don't have as many I don't have the contacts you guys have. You guys got so much pull, man. My place wasn't as booked, but no, I spoke to Jordan on at least 3 occasions on just a regular interview before we could get him on here, and then I just had him on the on the left with Drill Sergeant, and that just literally premiered an hour ago. So some of the people who are in this chat just saw him an hour ago.
Oh, really?
with other candidates. So I don't want to say too much, but I'm always just happy to have you here, man. I guess I'd love for you to let the people know what I know. Your plan for rebuilding or helping to rebuild this party that has become a cesspool for money,
Corruption.
and corruption.
Lies.
Yeah,
Real
lies. And I mean, they're not the opposition party we deserve. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic question. And I suppose, like, being a Democrat here in Missouri, I'll kind of like speak to that first, because I grew up in a really conservative state. I grew up in Nebraska. I served then in the Air Force for nearly 16 years. And then after that, I worked for Andrew Bailey at the Missouri Attorney General's office. My point in telling you these things is that I have spent my entire childhood, formative experience, and adult life and career surrounded by conservatives. So I empathize with them when they hear nothing but judgmental language coming from the left endlessly. Here's what I've done differently and why I'm being effective here in the state of Missouri. I instead choose a different attack. I don't judge. Instead, I give permission. I give reasoning. For example, I tell folks it's okay that you voted for Donald Trump. We can't unring that bell. It's already happened. But guess what? He's a world's greatest con man, such that he tricked hundreds of millions of people to vote for him, sometimes twice, sometimes even 3 times. It's okay that you voted for him. I fought on a battlefield for you to vote however your conscience decides. And it's not for me to judge. But here's the deal. Moving forward, you've seen what we have. We need stability. We need accountability. We need a return to the Constitution. And the fact is that Donald Trump and his MAGA movement abandons all of that. And when you talk about the issues like that, and you just sort of like break it down and you give people permission to say, you're right, I was tricked by the world's greatest con man, suddenly they're no longer judged, but they're ready to then divorce themselves, maybe take a step away from the administration, and then you build it back with more language that they're comfortable with. Now, fortunately, my second job ever, I worked for a company called Sagebrush. It's no longer existing. But what Sagebrush did is we made lead ball shot for black powder rifles. We also made cotton wad patch cleaner for bores, bore cleaner. We did buttstock fabrication. It was awesome. I was a senior in high school doing this kind of work, and it was my first job out of high school, right? I carried it on through the summer before I went into the Air Force. It was great. Democrats typically don't tell those stories. I told y'all that I'm an openly happy and proud Catholic. I celebrate my faith. And here's the deal. The Republican Party, by and through the MAGA movement, has sort of put the stranglehold on faith, right? But 68% of our country identifies as Christian. So why don't our Democratic friends step up and tell folks who they are and what they believe in? Not saying that we're here to evangelize or proselytize, but if you know how I've lived my life, if you know what I've been through, you're going to know how I'm going to politic, how I'm going to vote. And so I tell the truth about who I am. I grew up in poverty. I started out with a GED. That's what took me into the Air Force. Like I said before, there was no hope for an education for me. It came through nearly 16 years of sacrifice. But my goal today is to help all of those little kids like I was, struggling to find a way through economic mobility to get to the next tier, knowing that you do not have the opportunity under your feet yet. Now, I was willing to make any sacrifice possible to get that job done. When I was a little kid, I would run out of my house when my mom and dad were fighting. They were very violent, alcoholic people. To be fair, they were both under the age of 25 and they had 3 boys within 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah. No financial planning skills. This is the early 90s. They were screwed. And so they drank over it, like millions of families do still today. And unfortunately for my family, addiction caught on and physical violence came out. Back when I was a little kid living in that home, I knew what I needed to do. I had to run out of the house and find the nearest telephone. We were too poor to afford one. Knock on the neighbor's door and ask to use their phone, alert the police, save mom, save brothers. That was the job, answering the call of duty when I was just a little kid. That's the exact same feeling I had joining in the military in 2006. I know I don't look it. The face doesn't match my age. I'll be 39 next month. But I joined in 2006 because I knew the best way to an education and to freedom for me was through military service. And that meant going to war. I was prepared to make any sacrifice. I had run across bare feet since run across streets with bare feet since I was a little kid. I was not afraid to stand in a desert with steel toe boots on. That's a reality. Today, though, I got to help those families out. The ones that are suffering with addiction because financially they are locked in financial servitude. I got to help those kids out that are forgotten about that just want healthcare and to see a dentist. I didn't see one until I was 19 years old. I want to help those single moms out when they go into a delivery room so they don't leave the hospital with a bankruptcy or severe debt. That's why I work on the policies I do. Because I've stopped, I've listened, I've learned, and I've collected the stories that matter. And then I found a way to advocate for those people, not myself, not my own personal interests, because I believe in putting people before party, much in the same way for nearly 16 years I showcased service before self.
So, I mean, the story's amazing. And I think for me, translating that to MAGA is important because it just is. And I don't have the skill set for it. I welcome the opportunity for others who do. But there's another thing that I know that I'm voting for that every candidate has to show, and that is, what does the fight look like against an authoritarian in the White House? So we know you're a courage candidate. So yeah, you're going to the first thing, anything that says impeach, you're on it.
Right.
But I want to focus on the idea of what's the fight look like, because right now it doesn't look like there's an opposition. How do you become an besides that one thing? What does the opposition look like and sound like that we can cling to, that we can say they're working on our behalf while we're working in the streets?
That's a great question. And I'm going to defer to a piece of literature called The Art of War, written by Sun Tzu. He kind of has 3 basic tenets, right? You got to know your enemy, you got to know the terrain, and then you'll win by mastering those things, and managing it appropriately, and as well as logistics. He also talks about the game of Go. Rather than playing chess to run through your enemy, you surround your enemy, much in the same way a siege would be surrounding your enemy. You cut off their resources, you starve them out. That's exactly how I've been running my race. I've looked into who donates to my opponent. And then I go first. I cut off the resources. I make sure they know who's actually working for them. I call farmer councils. I call farmer unions. I call unions here every day. I try to connect with new groups, new people. And here's the result. In this state, I am now sponsoring a competitive fishing team, a bass fishing tournament team They go around the state. Yeah, a Democrats logo. They're Scott and Tyler White. You can check them out. They're on my Facebook page right now. We're also sponsoring hunting teams and hunting tournaments, and they're asking me to do it. That's the cool part, is they're reaching out to me. And do you know when the last time a Democrat was ever in a logo on a competitive fishing tournament? How about never?
Never. Yeah, I mean,
Never.
I mean, I'm sure before I was born or whatever, before I was voting, but no.
So here's what the opposition looks like, to answer your question. It's a return to who we are as Missouri, to who we are as Americans. I want to stop seeing my neighbor as my possible enemy. I want to see them as my neighbor and possible friend, the person I could lean on when I need somebody to watch my property or my kids in an emergency. Today, that's not the America we live in, right? Today, we live in a place where it feels like everyone is surrounded by political and social trauma, and they're walking around in a trauma and trigger state. Now, here's the reason for naming it that way. When we know how to deal with trauma and how to talk to people who are triggered, we can resolve issues better. We can approach situations with more empathy, understanding that it might take a little bit more explanation. Why? Because they're just worked up in anxiety. They're scared. When you can attach the human emotion, name the monster, name anxiety, name the beast, you're going to have a likelihood of success, and it will be less difficult to get the opposition out of power because you've courted them over. I am a product of AA. I'm a happy, sober veteran today. I celebrated 4.5 years, or I will celebrate 4.5 years this coming month. Very, very proud of myself. But you know, that story, shucks, I just forgot my point. I tell that story though, because it's important for us to reach out to people. Even just talking about me being an alcoholic in recovery and living a sober life, it humanizes me. Yeah. I told y'all that I have a GED. Do you know how many people in Missouri have GEDs? How many men have GEDs? They are seeing themselves in this campaign. If a GED can get to this place, so can you. Yeah. That's part of it. Oh, here it is. In AA, we talk about the program being a program of attraction. That's what I kind of look at as my party and my faith. It's a program of attraction. My party is one that brings people in because we have a great life. We celebrate life and we support life. Here's some examples. It was Democrats who made sure that my single mom had food to feed her 3 boys. It was Democrats who made sure that she had a Pell Grant. It was Democrats who made sure that her 3 boys had free school lunches, so we could study and focus, because a nourished body is a nourished mind. That's why I can't abandon this party. And when we tell those stories and we connect it to real examples, like I said, opposition is a lot less hard. And instead, more people join it. Now, I'm never going to convince the cult following MAGA crowd. But guess what? I was never working on them anyway. Right. I know I can peel away enough independent, free-thinking Americans who are ready for a return to common sense, to our founding documents, to the Constitution, that is, rather, and to a future that we can all believe in again. That's what unites us.
So dovetailing off of that, something I like to ask every candidate that comes on here. We don't always get to it for some reason, but your top 3 policy priorities, not necessarily, in order, but the top 3 things, if you've got to focus on, because, getting to Senate, it's a 6-year term, you might not be able to get everything you want. So what would be the top 3 things that you would want to see you be able to work on in your tenure should you win the election?
Absolutely. So when I go to the House of Representatives in United States Congress, you make a great point. It's a very short term. It's 2 years, and then you have to rotate on out. You're good. I got your back. I got your 6. So yeah, you're right. It's a very short, narrow time frame. So the first thing I'm focused on is restoring accountability and trust in government. That comes through articles of impeachment. That comes by installing the check and balance back into government. Second, we need to focus on the broken systems that put people into homelessness. Now, the 2 leading causes of homelessness in our country today are housing costs and healthcare. Those are both attached to the economy. I hate it when people say the economy is my biggest priority because it's so broad. But in a sense, my second priority is economy related, housing and healthcare. Both of those need to be fixed. Housing, I have a 4-part plan that I've talked about across our state, calling for a national emergency over the housing industry, an expansion into HUD called Middle Income Housing Tax Credits, or MITAC, followed up by a rent cap across the country, arguing for a 5 to 3% rent cap, lease over lease, excuse me. And last, to also install new barriers to prevent investors, hedge fund, those types of folks, venture capitalists from owning too much private equity and breaking up the amount of things that they're allowed to buy. For example, not mortgage and rental properties, it's one or the other. The more competition we have in the marketplace, the better we will do. When it comes to healthcare, what we have to do is, again, approach it with antitrust and monopoly law. We also need to humanize people again and stop looking at healthcare as it's something benefiting only the wealthy and those who are well connected. For me, I firmly believe that healthcare is a right. Now, in our nation, it's not codified yet, but one day it will be. Till we get to that point, I believe that healthcare is an infrastructural need to a quality and dignified life here in our country. You cannot achieve growth in our people, in our communities, without health. They are dependent on one another. My third and last priority would be on veterans. Veterans across our country have been ravaged under the VA. We've lost child and family sponsor support caregivers. We've lost 80,000 employees as of last year under the VA alone. Hundreds of thousands of people had their collective bargaining rights agreements cut. Some people had their contracts canceled. And what it results in is missed cancer screenings in the VA. It results in less patients able to go to the mental health clinic. It means more unhoused veterans, more sick veterans, more early dead veterans. For me, that is a no-go. I took an oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when I see someone coming for veterans, people who put their life on the line, that's my enemy.
Excellent answers on all those. And good to see where your priorities are. I appreciate that. I always feel like it informs us a bit about who the candidate is beyond just their background stories, what they're focused on, what they care about.
I appreciate that. And, I was just speaking with the IAFF today, and now I've been blessed because I've overcome 3 self-harm attempts, all 3 requiring inpatient hospitalization. Now, during the first 2, I was in a collected group called Valor, Program for Recovery, here in North Kansas City. And in our program, you were put in with law enforcement officers, firefighters, EMTs, and military. And what was so interesting was the same injuries we see on the battlefield are the same injuries that our firefighters and sometimes our law enforcement officers see in the field and in the ER, and certainly our EMTs see that as well. The connectivity among all these related traumas showcased to me that we're all not so different. And we can build on that. So if folks think that the military, the police, firefighters, or EMT, that those fields are all presumptively conservative, they're not. They're not. In fact, they want greater support, greater help. And we've just got to be brave enough to walk into those places and have hard conversations.
I know there's also a presumptive mentality of the willingness to accept help.
Oh, for sure.
We've seen those. It's tough guys don't take therapy or don't do group or don't do this and that. Like, it becomes such a toxic, self-feeding thing that invariably leads to more negative stuff, self-harm attempts, and a mindset of isolation that can lead you down to an even darker place. I'm sure I can speak for a number of folks up here who have lost good friends to going to that dark place. And it's real every single day.
I think that's such an important fact to draw up on. So we lost just under 10,000 folks in the wars. Sad, very, very sad. And I thank them in their memory for their sacrifice. Truly, I mean that. But when we came back home, 30,000 have taken their own lives. 3 times as many, which means to everyone who's listening, when you step off the battlefield, the war is not over.
Nope.
It follows you home. I see it in the mirror sometimes. I see it in my dreams. I wake up in a sweat. I was just out walking my dog the other day, and true story, I had this overwhelming feeling of fear and panic. I turned red, I started sweating, and then I started bawling my eyes out, just walking my little dog, Kennedy. And I had to call my campaign manager, Will, up, and I asked him, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he was sort of worried, what's going on. And I had to calm myself down and remind myself that Will is okay. I didn't just lose him, because it felt like he died.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many phone calls I've gotten just out of the blue, nowhere, and that someone tells me, "You lost your friend again." It's hard. Those ghosts follow you.
Some of the best people we do.
Yeah, it does, man.
But that's why I'm in the fight, right? We have to have champions who can speak to these issues and be willing to walk out the front door. And I've said this before on the campaign trail. There are some days I'm so anxious and paranoid, I am bawling leaving my front door. But I make sure that I get to the place where I'm supposed to be. And if I cry while I'm giving my speech, and sometimes that does happen, I know what I need to do. Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep standing up and keep saying what I need to say. Fight through the tears. Let them flow. Who gives a damn? Show you're a human being with a heart. That's what matters. Show your empathy. Show that you care. Don't just talk about it. Be about it.
Yeah.
There's a big, very big issue that has kind of been everybody who I've been talking to in the past, couple days, every recording, every candidate was talking about the fact that the reason why Democrats didn't do this or that, but mainly they didn't show up to podcasts or this or whatever it is. Everybody has a good reason. And my idea was it's simply because if it's not scripted, they can't do it. Because when somebody asks you a serious question that you didn't expect or is looking for a human real answer, most of them couldn't answer it. And now we have a progressive caucus. Most of them couldn't answer it because if it doesn't fall in line with the perfect talking point and go in line with the donor, they're left making themselves viral for the wrong reason, and so they just instead never went. On the other hand, this coalition or the coalitions that you need to make out there, right? We're talking about being authentic. Do you have Democrats that you plan on having a coalition with to do the things that you need to do, that you've been working with, that you've already called, or that you have a plan on how to strategize with, to put some of the people at ease who are saying, because I see it all the time in the comment section, everything is great, but I don't trust when he gets there. Do you have an idea of a coalition of people who are authentic, who believe like you believe, that you can go out with and talk and cry and know that in the end, when it comes to that vote, they won't be voting for AIPAC?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think one thing that's very interesting, is for anyone who's out there and would like to know, go to my FEC. It's fec.gov. Put in Herrera for Congress or any candidate's name for that matter. All of our contributions are public. You're allowed to see them all. And you'll see I have not accepted a single dollar from any political action committee whatsoever. I've stayed 100% grassroots. And I want to remind folks, you're going to hear Democrats say, I'm against Citizens United, but they're still taking money on the back end. I'm against Citizens United, and my feet do the talking. because sometimes you can't trust this, especially when the mouth belongs to a politician. So check me, hold me accountable, check my FEC on that. So to answer your question, Doug, if you don't mind rephrasing it one last time, I'm so sorry.
So rephrasing, do you have a coalition
Right. Okay.
of people that you're trying to build that can give us an idea? Tell me your friends, and I show you who you are, type thing.
Absolutely. So I think there's a twofold answer here. One is at the local and state level, and the other is at the federal level. So first, on the local and state level, I've been running for 14 months. I intentionally built relationships with our mayor, Mayor Quentin Lucas. I intentionally built relationships with the previous mayor and now the newly elected mayor in Lee's Summit. Same for Independence, Missouri, Belton, Missouri, and so many others. I intentionally went out to every county meeting. I intentionally went out to every committee meeting. And what this earned me was not only respect, but trusted relationships. With those trusted relationships, I've been able to go and knock on doors for other candidates, school board members, and so forth. And you know what's funny? Sometimes I'm not able to be in every meeting, but they are, and they politic for me because I was there for them. I showed them who I was by my actions. I didn't just do this. I was there. I put in the sweat equity for others. I knocked doors for others. So that's how you build those relationships. Number two, at the federal level. Now, I can't go to every congressional district across the country. I got my own to worry about. It's too important to me. What I've done is I've joined national organizations. You know, you brought up Citizens Impeachment and also Courage Candidates. Citizens Impeachment is a group of candidates across the country who are focused on impeaching these bad actors in our current administration. And furthermore, I would say it's a greater commitment to impeaching anybody, regardless of party, if you fail to uphold your duties. Second, our Courage Candidates, willing to have the tough conversations to say what it is and be willing to put our neck on the line. You know what's funny is I'm running here in Missouri, right? And a lot of people think they can puff their chest up to me. All it takes is this. I stood on the battlefield of Iraq. I stood in Afghanistan. I had 3 barrels pointing at me, and they didn't take me out. I tried to take me out 3 times, and I wasn't successful. You're not. And I live by another logic. This one's good. If you come for, I don't believe in an eye for an eye, but if you come for me or mine, I'm going to take yours first.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, I don't need to strike until I need to strike. And when I do, you're going to regret it. So how do we win coalitions off of these messages? Well, like I've said, just being real, being honest. I tell people this, I'm a Missouri Democrat. Don't just call me a Democrat. I'm a Missouri Democrat, damn it. And that's a new phrase. So I get to define what that means.
That's good.
I like it. I like that.
That's that
Sub-Sue, goddammit, out here.
Exactly. I'm a Missouri Democrat, damn it. That means I support the Second Amendment. I told y'all, I took an oath to defend the Constitution against everyone, foreign and domestic. That includes the Second Amendment. Sorry about it, but that's what we got to do as Democrats. We've got to promote this language in a way that's responsible. Now, I'm not calling for minors to carry guns everywhere. That's crazy. In fact, I call for a national training standard for first-time gun owners and first-time gun purchasers. You know what's crazy? A lot of Missouri supports me on it, even conservatives. In fact, I've had several people who are pro-2A and abortion people, these single ballot issue people, conservative. And I've had conversations on both topics, and I still was able to move them to my direction as a Democrat.
Well, the thing about being in Congress is you're there to make right decisions and to, you know, there are national things that you have to show some chutzpah on, but you're also there to represent the 4th District of Missouri. Right. Yep. And so there's people in California somewhere that's going to say we need to get rid of the Second Amendment, period. And you're going to say, well, I think we need to do this. That's fine. I don't care either way. Y'all fight it out and come out with the best decision. That's fine. But when you're building coalitions, you find compromise better. And you understand, I think, the lay of the land and the important stuff. everybody agrees on, right? I mean important stuff like democracy, like where we are in democracy, healthcare, right? Minimum wage. Another thing is, and this is my last one, guys. I'll let you guys go in. I didn't want to take it over, like I said, but Gaza.
I mean, you've already interviewed him like 5 or 6 times, so you know all like the really good questions to ask. Whereas I'm like, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Ooh, that's a great question.
We're adding that to our list from now on.
Nah, I like that one, man. Well, no, I know that. Here's what I know. I know that role-playing games is coming up soon.
Yeah,
I know that we're going to be talking about, what is it? Dungeons and Dragons pretty quickly. And so I want to make sure I get these ones out the way. That's all I'm saying. So
I got invited to a D&D game one time. My short attention span, I was squirreling out in 10 minutes. I was never invited back.
Oh.
So, it sucks.
No.
I like that universe of games and movies and books.
All right, so Gaza. This is
Yeah.
one of the important things. This is one of the things you build coalitions on.
Yeah.
I would rather not spend any more money on Israel. I would rather not spend another dollar on a genocide. I would rather not bomb people who've done nothing wrong to me, even if they are a terrorist sponsoring state. I'd like to find better ways to deal with them, like negotiations that we had with Barack Obama. But the be-all and end-all is, how are we going to deal with this genocidal apartheid state who uses our name, money, and weapons to safeguard their atrocities? And if it can't be mentioned like that, then I don't know. I don't know how else to say it.
No, I think you're exactly right. And, I was on record, and you can check me on this. I've been on record 2 weeks after, or maybe it was about 3 weeks after October 7th, 2023. After the event had occurred, that Hamas had committed this terrorist act. About 2 to 3 weeks later, I made a post and I had stated, this isn't a war, it's a land grab. I'm a guy who has a degree in war, battle and strategy. I know what it looks like and what it doesn't look like. That was a land grab. From the very beginning, it was a clearing campaign. So, okay, how did we get locked into this? Well, cut forward to Iran now. And Israel has instigated attacks with Lebanon. They've instigated attacks with Iran. They've become this state that sort of is the belligerent state in the region. And yet here we are backing them with our munitions. So I've been very clear that, to me, if you call yourself an ally of the United States, I hold my friends to the same standard I hold myself to. And if Israel cannot meet the same standard as the United States, then Israel is not a friend of the United States. What that means is the law of war, Geneva Convention codes, not committing war crimes and genocide, not bombing innocent people. And you bring up a great point. In Iran, 170,000 civilians have been killed. Only 120,000 military have been killed. What's really being targeted? And who's the bombing campaigns being led by? It's clear that we're getting a lot of intelligence from our friend Israel. But I have to question, what kind of a friend is this? Is this the friend that hands you the poison pill and says this will take care of your headache? Or is this the friend that's going to take care of you? I feel like it's the latter. Now, I don't understand why our president is cozying up so close to people like Viktor Orban, who just lost his election in Hungary, or Benjamin Netanyahu, who has very clearly orchestrated a takeover of Israeli democracy to keep himself elected. That's not a democratic state anymore. He's not a democratically elected prime minister. I don't believe it. Frankly, it's time, if we're going to be so involved in toppling other nations, why in the hell are we talking about our allies when they fail to live up to the same values that we hold.
Hmm.
We should be talking about replacing Netanyahu, not the Israeli leader or Iranian leadership. Now, you make a great point. Iran traffics in terrorism through Hezbollah, the Houthis, and a few others. That's not the entire country. It's one thing that this government has done. And if you don't think that the United States is committing their own acts to promote our own national strategic values, vision, and missions, then you're crazy. We do that. We invaded Venezuela and abducted their president and his wife. We do the same thing.
Well, so does Qatar, and they gave us the plane, and so does Saudi Arabia, and we got a Trump Tower there. So the idea that Iran is the only place that's sponsoring terrorism, what you mean is there's places that's sponsoring terrorism that's not giving us money in protection money or whatever the hell. Like, that's the real reason why we're so easy to say Iran is sponsoring terrorism, but somehow you don't think that the UAE, that Iran, I mean the Qatar, that these places who have human trafficking and slave labor at a monumental level, this is okay. So I'm with you. I'm sorry, I just had to say that part because I don't know why I feel the need to defend Iran. They're horrible as far as the government and not the people.
Yeah.
But every now and then, I just have to make sure that we remind ourselves that we pick and choose who we think is horrible.
Could I maybe give you why you feel that way? Just possibly. Because I feel the same way too. I don't want to defend Iran. I have intelligence. I know what they do.
Yeah.
But here's the reason why I feel this way about Iran. If you're going to tell me that a nation, when we already invaded them and bombed the hell out of them in June of 2025, that their nuclear facilities and arsenal were completely and totally obliterated. Cut to today, where you're telling me the same damn story. They have a nuclear weapon or possibly technology or possibly developing it, that it may hit Israel or one of our other friends in the region. So therefore we need to act. Cool. You know what that sounds like to me? A weapon of mass destruction. And I joined our Air Force in 2006 on the premise that they actually freaking existed. I almost said the F word. You're not going to get it from me. That they actually existed. And they never did find them.
Challenge
no
accepted.
one.
Yeah.
Right now, over in Iran, you want to tell me there are weapons of mass destruction? I come from the state that says, show me. Show me your evidence. Show me the mission. Show me the exit strategy. Show me the congressional authorization, because until the people of the United States say you have the permission to do this, you don't.
Period. I appreciate
I don't want to
that.
defend them either, but my answer to that question is just like the ACLU defends the freedom of speech of everybody, whether it's people who are being oppressed by the government or people who are otherwise the oppressors, except when it's not their turn in power, whether it's white supremacists or other people. That's what they do. The right belongs to everybody. Just like we say the Constitution applies to everybody who's in the United States, whether they're here legally or illegally. Human rights are human rights. Just like we say that every criminal, even if we caught them red-handed, deserves a fair trial.
Fair trial, due process.
Because that's how the system works. Everybody gets due process. The same thing applies to a fucking country that has systematically engaged in and supported terrorism and has been kind of a dickhole to other people in the region.
Right.
If they're not doing anything wrong at that particular moment in time, and we just decide, you know what, let's go over there and start blowing shit up because our friend said so, we're in the wrong. And those of us who remember the state-sponsored terrorists and insurgents in Iraq, during the surge. That was a lot of that was backed by Iran. They blew up a lot of our friends,
Sure
and I
did.
took that shit personally. But when it comes down to it, when somebody is trampling on their rights, not just their shitty ass government and their shitty ass supreme higher rolla of rock and rolla, or whatever his name was, and the people are being punished, it's just random ass civilians, and we're denying them due process on an international stage, and we're shutting off their infrastructure, and we're bombing their schools and shit like that. We're not the good guys in that equation, and I fucking resent having to defend that goddamn country. But
I
you
mean, if
don't
all
just
three of
decide
us are
what's
feeling
right.
the same way, that's a pretty strong indicator to me, at least, that the majority of people are feeling that same way. This is a deeply unpopular war. And I, in fact, today when I was in a room full of union leaders kind of describing who I am and why I'm fighting so damn hard, I said to them all, we've lost 3 F-15s in the air due to friendly fire. Another one went down when those 2 pilots ejected. We've lost 2 Black Hawk helicopters and an A-10 Warthog. These things do not happen regularly in war. They don't. Not for the United States, not in modern warfare. They happen right now because there's a lack of communication, a lack of coordination, a lack of planning. There was no training whatsoever. You only shoot 3 of our own jets out of the sky when things are so messed up and disconnected at a strategic operational level up here at the very national level. That's when those mistakes happen. And so I don't believe any of these people. The 5th Fleet in Bahrain, like 40% of it was hit. It's been damaged. If you conceal 150 wounded Americans, I don't have any reason to believe you.
Yeah.
And almost did it again.
I'm gonna get you.
Right? That's what's gonna set me off. It will be that. It will be that. Because how dare you? How dare you? These are people's. My grandfather died in Vietnam, and if somebody tried to cover up his death or cover up his service, there'd be hell to pay.
We're at a point now where media credibility is low. The government's own spokespeople their credibility is shot.
Right.
If it's coming from the White House in general or anybody who's directly associated with that, it's tainted. Even if they're telling the truth, because they've lied so often, it's how do you even trust these people now? And I remember eras where it was okay, well, the person in charge is a piece of shit and we don't like them. They make dumb decisions and they're not honest, but at least we can rely on the rest of the government agencies to do their job properly. And now we're at a point where it's some guy comes and he's today we did this mission and it was really cool and we struck back and we blew all this stuff up, but the rest of the world is really? That's not what we see here. We see you shooting missiles at things that are painted on the blacktop of a runway. That's all we see. And they're no, that never happened. It totally did. Here's a picture from on the ground where you can see it's not just a top-down picture. And I was that's AI. It's
oh God,
when they tell you that. So when media reports vary and are conflicting, and then you have agencies outside the United States, or even agencies that are typically based in the United States but are international, and they're reporting one thing and we're not seeing it from anything else. It's how are we supposed to believe you when you are actually telling the truth? It's
yeah.
What is that song? But it's the Fat Boys.
The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
The early 80s. You remember the Fat Boys from the 80s? It's you talk too much. You never shut up.
Yeah,
it's
you never shut up.
What song are you talking about? I don't know the lyrics.
You tell so many lies, you believe yourself, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of, and I hate it. I don't want to be a fan of the government in the first place. I just want them to exist and do a job, even if I don't really like how they're doing it. At least be competent, marginally. This is like you're not even that, and I can't believe a word that you say. So when you tell me that, you know, this particular prospect outlook is sunshine and roses, I'm like, I don't
Nah,
believe you.
I don't
Like
believe
I
you.
need to see it in action, and even then, I'm gonna wait for the other shoe to drop because it's like it'll go up for a second, and then something will flatline, and I'm like,
Well, you know how
that's
just how I had mentioned, we lost just under 10,000 in both wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, but 30,000 took their own life back here at home. Keep in mind, this is also the president, while he's committing America's sons and daughters to go and fight in a needless war, experience trauma, encounter all of these life situational issues that result in veterans on the streets, veterans who are drug addicted, veterans in prison. If he's going to do all of this, causing all this trauma, then why in the hell are you also cutting our VA healthcare? Why are you making it harder for TRICARE to give us benefits, to give us services? Why in the hell are you fighting to close our rural healthcare hospitals? I'll give an example. Because they gutted Medicaid, rural healthcare is taking a disproportionate hit. Where are our Air Force bases? Where are our Army bases? They're out in rural America. We need space to fly and train. That means every single one of those active duty family members at Fort Sill, Fort Hood, well, maybe not Fort Hood, but definitely Fort Sill around Lawton, Fort Leonard Wood here in Missouri, Whiteman Air Force Base here in Missouri. All of those are going to be dramatically impacted by the loss of rural healthcare. So it's one thing to commit our sons and daughters to go and serve. It's another to make sure that they go and serve and then they have no infrastructure to protect their lives, to safeguard their lives, to make sure they have a life when they come home. It's bullshit. There you go. There's one curse word.
Absolutely. We got him. We got him. We got him. So, listen, I've got to get up out of here. I have a meeting about the 7 days in DC, and this is something that we're planning to take back our what do we call it? The celebration of our country, take it back from fascism and a dictatorship, and to make sure that we have as many people in DC as possible to do direct action, also to speak truth to power. There'll be a lot of events, but there's a meeting about this that I have to be at 8 o'clock, and it's 8 o'clock now. So I just want to make sure that I showed this. All right. That I showed this, and everybody can see what's going on. I want to see you guys out there in DC. If you hear my words, if you can see my face, I want to see you guys there from June 28th to July 4th, and it could be any amount of those days that you could show up. But I figured that I'd let you know where I'm going, because we're holding a meeting for that, and I'd love to see all of you out there in the chat room. For everybody else, man, I got a jet. I gotta do the meeting thing, but thank you so much as usual, sir.
Absolutely.
What's my wrestling?
Oh,
what's the card gonna be for that?
Okay, so listen, we got we got the giraffe himself. First of all, Robbie Roadsteamer is holding wrestling matches. I think he might be wrestling as well. He will also be in the ring. But you, my friend, tonight we're gonna figure out your car. We're gonna see who. We got to make sure that it's in the correct weight class, because I seen you in the gym, and I don't need you clobbering. People may not know. So we're gonna find somebody out there that can. They're doing wrestling matches. We're doing to counteract the UFC fight that's going to be on the daggone White House lawn. We're going to be inside doing what we do with Flair at the Capitol, in the offices, direct action only, right? This is what this is all about. And then, of course, we'll also be doing. We're still in the planning phases. We just know that you need to be there, so I wanted to bring it up. But yeah, wrestling is going to be happening, like WWF wrestling. And Robbie Roadsteamer is the one holding it, and you're going to get to see him do his thing. Now, I have a bum ankle. I'm not gonna.
Were you going to show us the bum ankle?
No. I'm just saying that I had to just hold it and touch it a little bit for dramatic effect. Like I'm not wrestling. I used to wrestle too. I was actually pretty good. But nah, I'm not doing it. But yeah, guys, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be important, and some of it won't be fun. Some of it will be about that direct action, and it's going to take a little bit of chutzpah. But I know that if there's a crowd that understands that and wants to be a part of that, it's you guys. So go off to the meeting. Make sure you see if you can get a stronger word out of them, Sarge. Keep it going.
Oh, I do get fired up.
All right.
Okay. And like that, Drill Sarge is off to another adventure.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Oh, I get it. That's how my life is. It's today I had maybe 4 or 5 meetings back to back. So it happens. It's a good thing. It's tedious, but it's a good thing.
Now, it's the unglamorous parts of the struggle to right the ship here in America, right? It's not just the fiery speeches and crowds of hundreds of thousands of people for as far as the eye can see. Sometimes it's meetings and fundraising and doing planning for events and organizing people and sponsors and all the nitty-gritty details that that's not going to make the motion picture version.
No, you're exactly right. But I mean, once you learn all of the pieces of the puzzle and you can work with them, that's the barrier to entry right there. You just figured it out. And so, in my campaign, trying to make it easier for young people to access the same information that I do, I've been mentoring young people specifically for that reason, to show them the ropes, show them what we need to get done. And, here in the state of Missouri, we have no gun laws on our books whatsoever. And so in that particular realm, I have been helping young people to sort of advocate for whatever they think is best in terms of gun policy, teaching them essentially, this is how you build a bill. This is how you go to your legislature. This is how you get it introduced in committee, to fight for it, to get it out of committee, all of those sorts of things. And so what I've been doing for the last year has been mentoring. You guys would understand this, being veterans as well. Like that's what you do nearly every day is you mentor and train your replacement. And so I've made that a part of my campaign as well with my youth campaign, is that I'm constantly training my replacements because I need people to win up and down the ballot, whether you're in the mayoral race, city council, county legislature, state house, or at the federal level. For me, it comes in the form of teaching and showing. And when you can do that, that's also another great way to build a new relationship. And what I learned on the campaign trail is also this, like folks will tell you like politics is done face to face. And while that is true, I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's really built on trusted relationship to trusted relationship. And to get there, it takes time. You got to put in the sweat equity. I have a phrase that I use called democracy is a contact sport. It only works with your participation. Yeah. So in my campaign, we tell people to make 2 contacts per day, whether that's a contact like this and you're knocking on a door, a contact like this and you're talking to a contact on the phone, or maybe you're just typing, maybe you're sharing, liking, commenting. 2 contacts per day. That's all it takes to build the big blue wave. To share a post, man, that does so much good for us. It's a free way to help us fundraise.
It's excellent. It's good strategy. Absolutely.
I'm watching the comments. People are talking about Iranian culture, and I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really want to tell people to Google like Iranian metal bands, because they don't have a thriving scene because a lot of their music is
might be a little tough.
Yeah, satanic or whatever, because theocracy. But like, there's some really good bands from the Middle East just not just Iran, but like other countries, like Krasakauta, oh fuck, Smoldering and Forgotten is another one. Those bands are amazing, and there are a couple of Iranian bands like Trivax and Hura that you definitely want to check out if you're into any kind of metal at all, and you want to check out what heavy metal sounds like when it comes from people who live in a totalitarian society. That's what you need to check out. Just Google it. Iranian metal bands.
That's an awesome suggestion.
Enjoy. You're welcome for my service.
That was not the segue any of us were expecting this evening, but you know what? I think we'll take it.
Yeah, I do like some weird, like tangential left field
I
sort
think
of
you
non
make a good
sequiturs.
point. Also, where the hell is all of the protest music in our country? I'm not hearing any pop singers. I'm not seeing. I mean, come on! Like Creedence Clearwater Revival sang "Fortunate Son" and it became a hit that we all still listen to, among other anti-veteran or anti-Vietnam songs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Dropkick Murphys has been knocking it out of the park.
I do like Dropkick Murphys. Yeah,
they've been. What's the one they just released? Fuck, I can't remember, but it's the previous year got started off with the "Who'll Stand With Us," which is a great protest anthem. You go back to their start with like "Workers' Song," and it's throughout their history they've had some good ones in there. Probably not as well known ones, but there's some good ones there. But to your point, there could be a lot more.
Could be a lot more. I mean,
a lot of artists.
I create political art as a one, it's a passion of mine, but two, it's sort of like that's how we can reach new audiences through political art. In fact, we just hosted a silent auction for 10 local artists who all created political art for an event that we had. We featured the artists, we auctioned off the art. It was awesome. The artists collected 70%, and as a campaign, we collected 30%. It was wonderful. I mean, it's a great way to showcase local art and also encourage the type of art you want to see. It was gnarly. It was awesome. I wish we had more artists participating, and maybe we'll do it again this summer.
And of course, Big Sarge, a little slight self-promotion there.
I love that.
A little bit. Someone said a reminder of Pennywise, and I agree very much in a good way.
New York hardcore. I mean, New York hardcore is working class, don't tread on me type of stuff. So
I heard a Democrat in our state here in Missouri was using the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, and he got his hand smacked pretty hard for it, I guess. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I get it's been co-opted by the alt-right, but that's not what the intentional purpose of that flag was. It was an American Revolutionary flag, just like an Appeal to Heaven flag. Mm-hmm. He uses that one now instead of the Gaddis.
I guess it depends on who's doing the smacking down and like what is their reason. Like if it was some right winger that was telling me I can't use that symbology, I'm like, that is exactly why I am.
Right.
Actually, that's what would be my response if somebody on the left was doing it. If somebody we get criticized a lot by people on the left who are like, oh, you guys look like MAGA nationalists. I'm like, or maybe they stole the symbols from the people that used them for what they're supposed to be, and we're just taking our shit back.
Right.
Oh, but it's tainted. No, it's not. You're just a fucking idiot. That's what. Like,
I love.
I'm not gonna let somebody steal this shit. Fuck that.
I love all these suggestions in the chat for music that I need to pull up and listen to. I'm excited for that. But to your point, though, I think you're exactly right. And I've told this to other Democrats before. If you're looking for your perfect candidate or your perfect veteran, I'm going to fail 100% all the time because I'm not your perfect candidate. I have tattoos. I used to smoke cigarettes. I'm divorced. I talk about sobriety. I talk about PTSD because I try to normalize mental health care. These are things that Democrats typically don't do. I go onto farms and talk with farmers directly. I sponsor hunting and fishing tournaments. I've been called a Republican plant so many times already, it's ridiculous. And all I can say is this. When people insult you, They're really telling you what their position is. I was a runner for a long time. I never talked shit about the person who was behind me because I never thought about them. I didn't talk mess on the people to my left and right because I was too focused on beating them. And I never talk shit on the person in front of me. Or I'm sorry, I always talk shit on the person in front of me because that's the only person you see. That you know, if you're talking mess on me, you just tell me where you're at. You're behind me. You're really far behind me. So whatever, let people talk their talk because words are cheap. Footsteps matter more, and mine do the talking for me.
I always worry because we get it on our comments constantly. Just something that someone we're talking about is not left enough, and they're not true to the cause enough because they voted for this bill on farm cities in 2017. It's just like, holy shit, dude! If you're going to hold out for the perfect unicorn, just go and vote for Trump. You're not going to find someone that is without some kind of fault.
Data centers are going to be the next one that's coming up. I mean, I'll tell you all across the board, unions are pro data center. It's because it's the next great job thing that's going to last for the next decade to decade and a half. So you're going to see this push-pull between unions and those people who are motivated to build and those people who don't want it. Now, I'll advocate every day for both. I think there's a responsible path forward. I will never promote anything that's going to kick more people into homelessness. Like I said, the first reason people go into homelessness are housing costs. So if utility bills go up, it's a non-starter for me. Also, we cannot keep polluting our environment. We have a topsoil degradation issue across the country, along with aquifer replenishment issues across the Midwest. If we're not focused on agricultural problems, we're going to experience them harder. For me, it's just being smart on these issues, covering down everywhere you go and making sure you can speak to them smartly.
As someone who works in IT, there's definitely a double-edged sword there with the both taking jobs and both the future of the industry. So it's like you say, there's definitely a path you got to thread between all this stuff.
I get asked that one too as an attorney. I'm on the chopping block for AI to replace me, which really bums me out because they really worked hard for that law degree. But yeah, lawyers are on the chopping block, one of the first career paths that is likely to take a massive hit because of AI. And I get it. I do understand it. But at the same time, it's my belief in this. If you're an organization, a corporation, and you are incorporating AI or automated machines to displace jobs, then you need to be taxed on those algorithms, that AI technology and those automated processes. That's how we still make sure our country thrives and survives. Because even though they're not employing people and collecting income tax off of that or payroll tax off of that, we can still tax the data, the technology, whatever tools they're implementing to supplement.
I do personally feel that some of the AI is far overvalued versus what it actually has the sophistication to do. I had an incident at work today where a user who had not read instructions pushed a button they should not have. And despite a massive AI infrastructure that should have stopped the button from being pushed, it just allowed about 30 days worth of work to be wiped out. And I got to spend the whole day restoring all that. So it's good for very specific things, but it's like, build an idiot-proof mousetrap or build a better idiot.
That's a great phrase. I love that. And I'm one of the, I would call myself, because everybody ascribes to a certain political philosophy. Some are constitutional originalists. Others are maybe they take a contextual look at the modern, whatever. I would call myself a modernist. And what I mean by that is we're talking about AI. Nowhere in our United States Constitution does it talk about digital privacy rights. Nowhere does it talk about AI and capturing technology, frustrating your patents. Patents are in the United States Constitution, though.
True.
So we need to find a way to resolve these issues. So is trademark. Trademark is in our Constitution. AI is being used to frustrate the trademark system as well as the patent system. And if we aren't going to be smart and approach these subjects now, they will come back to bite us in the ass. Like I said before, I'm a constitutional lawyer. That's what I practice today. However, my concentration in law school was technology and entrepreneurial law. When I say I know I'm the most competitive and ready candidate to represent this district and our nation in DC, I know I am. Like I said, I trained for this. But also with constitutional modernism, I would advocate we need roughly about 7 new constitutional amendments to bring us up to speed. And they're really simple to go through. For me, it starts with our Declaration of Independence when we set out in 1776. We made a guarantee of an inalienable right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've already declared it in our documents. It is a right for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. When I say life, I'm talking about healthcare, a universal healthcare system that we can all benefit from. When I'm talking about liberty, I'm talking about amending the 13th Amendment, getting rid of all forms of servitude and bondage and slavery, even in our federal prisons. Also, by the way, we need to ban for-profit prisons. If the state's going to incarcerate you, it's the state's responsibility to maintain your health, rehabilitate you, and bring you back into society better than the way you went in. Yeah. Third, pursuit of happiness. Every American deserves an affordable, thorough, and accessible education through public school and through higher education. There are ways that we can achieve this that will not break the bank. The other 3 that I talk about are bodily autonomy, digital privacy, and marriage. These are our privacy rights. We still do not have any of these in our Constitution. Bodily autonomy. Uncle Sam doesn't get the decision between you and your provider. That's you and your provider. 2, Uncle Sam doesn't get to tell you who you get to marry and who you don't get to marry. That needs to be a constitutional amendment, so it's a guaranteed right. And third, your digital privacy. No longer should corporations or the government traffic in data, making money on your back. When you're the originator of the currency that they exploit today, it is my firm belief that you should be involved in consent or consideration in the profit. And if it's neither, then it's broken. And last, my 7th Amendment that I am working toward in my coalition that I am building is on term limits. I believe strongly that House of Representatives and our Senate, as well as our Supreme Court, needs to have term limits. That's what it costs.
A lot of people agreeing with that here.
These are universally accepted, I think, across the nation. Maybe I get pushback. I don't want to say universally, but by and large, I am in the majority on each one of those amendments.
I'd say so. And of course, the whole process for constitutional amendment is a big uphill climb, but you know what? I say swing for the fences.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not going up there to hit it out of the park, what are you doing at bat?
Harry Truman, he comes from our state. He talked to us about one thing. He said, America wasn't built on fear. It was built on courage, determination, and most importantly, imagination. We are only constrained by our imagination. And I truly mean that. I started out with a GED. Now I have a JD because I dreamed it. I started running for Congress last year, almost 15 months ago, because I dreamed it. And I said I'm going to do it. And I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And I've gotten no a lot. But I've learned to just take the no and tell that person, I never needed your yes anyway. I was just hoping for your yes so I could do more good. But guess what? I'm going to go around you. I'm going to keep doing more good. And you're going to regret saying no to me. And guess what? In my campaign, a majority of people have. Because they saw where my heart was. That this wasn't about self-promotion or profit. We can all say we're against Citizens United. I'm running on disability income only. I haven't been able to work since last June when Andrew Bailey fired me for standing up and resisting ICE here in Kansas City. These are the candidates that we should be supporting and making sure they get elected. People from working class backgrounds. Only 2% of our Congress comes from a working class background.
Yeah.
Veterans. Only 17% of our Congress are veterans. This matters, folks. Competence matters. With minority rights, this oligarchy aristocracy is for the birds. Oh, I saw somebody write.
I don't even know what's going on.
What is that supposed to be? I'm a born American citizen, so call immigration on me. Good luck. I have my passport here too. That's funny.
I was going to start with a story and then realized I don't know if it's cleared legal yet. So I was going to stop telling that story then. as unfortunately are the times we live in, where even the protected right to protest and freedom of assembly are being infringed upon by our government and by its supposed law enforcement branches, which continually find ways to violate the rights of American citizens in order to force compliance and silence. So I have to wait sometimes on some of these stories before I can tell them.
It's a grim reality, right? Our FCC chairman is bolstering broadcast networks to basically sell propaganda and don't say anything dismissing the president. It's sad that organizations like ABC, CBS, Fox are doing it.
Yeah.
Only NBC is the holdout of our 4 broadcast networks, just NBC.
And even then, the major broadcast networks are cut out of direct representation at the Pentagon, at oversight hearings. Not allowed to ask questions for us.
It's a grim reality that in our nation today, women in their reproductive life today have less rights than women 5 years ago. That's a true statement.
Yeah.
Women in their reproductive cycle today, this generation of women have less rights than their own mothers. That's a reality today under this administration. And we're seeing this over and over and over again, the curtailment of the ability to speak publicly. You saw college students get deported. Now, we all know when you're in this country, the Constitution protects you. Now, I get it. They were not citizens. They were here on a visa. That's not why we expel people from our country for protesting the government. That's something that North Korea does, that Iran does. That's nothing that we do.
And even then, our Constitution says that the rights it conveys are to the people here, not citizens here. And the understanding is that everybody is due process under law, for otherwise how could you determine who should have rights and should have it if there wasn't? So by very definition, there has to be that legal process. And when you say that I can deport you for, you said something I don't like, then we've thrown rule of law out the window then.
Right. Now we have to
do the front edge of our process.
Right. And it feels like now it's this litmus test of how can I kiss ass the best way? How can I sell my soul for the best dollar I can get, but I do need to sell it? And I'm just not a part of that MAGA cult. I just don't agree with them. And, you know, another working thing that I say with Republicans is this. You can either be MAGA or you can be a McCain Republican. Personally, I like McCain a lot. And I get more traction with stuff like that than I do really talking to MAGA folks. They'll come to me when I say MAGA or McCain Republicans. Folks like that. Yeah.
He was a statesman. Regardless of how he voted on some things, he was a statesman.
McCain was a genius. He was. And, you know, hell, he was a POW, man. If you don't have respect for that, then we don't have an ability to converse. He served his nation. He had the right to do what he did. And I respect the holy hell out of him. I really do.
Yeah. I almost voted for him, and then he picked Palin as, or let me rephrase that. Palin was
Russia from my house.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Man. Who knew that was the height of intellectualism in the Republican Party?
Hey,
I remember when things like that would get you fired.
Oh my God. Same. Yeah. I mean, at least under a McCain and Palin ticket, McCain would have been leading everything, right? Under a Trump-Pence ticket, it was like a daycare worker and a disgruntled, petulant child. Yes. Neither one was a leader with Pence and Trump. And with Vance and Trump, it's sort of like, is this the, you guys watch Star Wars, I bet, right? You know, is this the Imperial Army being formed? Is this the Rose, what's it called? The Rose Army, whatever they were in episode, I guess that'd be 7. You know which one I'm talking about? The Rose.
The Resistance.
Yeah. No, not the Resistance. The good guys. I'm talking about the bad guys. I feel like.
Oh, the First Order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're the precursor to all this mess. It's just nothing but terrible that comes after them.
It's all spitting out.
It really is. But, I mean, the more I talk, my talk about, just call JD Vance out for who he is. If you had to change your last name to tell your story, it's not your story.
Yeah.
It's not your story.
Incredibly inauthentic.
Also, what has the guy really accomplished, truly, other than being Peter Thiel's pet?
Apparently it pays very well if you get to work.
I'm an openly gay candidate running for office. I feel like I would be more of Peter Thiel's kind of person, and I would never take $1 from the dude. I don't know what JD Vance is doing. That's
you have to wonder. Oh, Big Sarge has the idea.
No, he did. I don't have a comment.
All right, not getting this canceled on YouTube. Excellent.
Yeah, let's not
change this week from our usual.
Oh yeah. Let me know what other hard-hitting questions you guys have. If someone in the chat has something that's just been kind of irking them that no one's talking to, happy to answer anything tough. Definitely, I'm not the candidate who's going to run away.
We definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, Mark Alford ran away a few times. Did you guys see that?
So you're set for right now. You're just waiting on the November election.
Well, I have a primary right now. There are 6 other candidates in the primary, which is frustrating and annoying. They all entered at the very last minute, except for 2. So there were 3 of us in the race, and there were 3 others. 3 other people have already suspended their campaigns and endorsed mine. And then within the last week or so, there were several new entrants into this. So, they have only 4 months to build a campaign to not only defeat me, but defeat Mark Alford, and it's just not possible. It truly isn't. We have a 250 square mile congressional district that holds 14 counties right now. If we go back to our old map, which is the lawful map from 2022, then it'll expand to 22 counties again. So for them, this is a tough race. And for those who may not be clear, here in Missouri, this is the one congressional district, the only one in the country that Donald Trump singled out and cracked into 3 separate congressional districts. So we're in a really tough spot here in our state. Where do I stand on trans rights and what committees do I want to be a part of? So when we talk about trans rights, we got to go back to individual liberty and freedom. That's how we talk about all these issues, whether we're talking about reproductive rights or trans rights. It's your body. Only you get agency over it. That's a confidential conversation between you and your provider. Much in the same way I was talking about bodily autonomy as a privacy right. I hope that explains to you where I stand on that issue. Absolutely. I am 100% for any American to live the life that they so choose for themselves. As long as they're not harming anyone else, they should have that right. And guess what? In our country, we have the United States Constitution where it guarantees everybody the freedom to express themselves. And if a government is telling you you only have to look like 2 genders, what a fantastic way to protest your government by appearing as a 3rd nonconformist gender. What committees do I want to be a part of? The 4th Congressional District has a large veteran population and 2 active duty military bases. I would argue that I need to be on the Armed Forces Committee as well as the Farming and Agricultural Committee. I would also try to fight for anything on the small business committees or finance committees as it relates to technology, campaign finance law, those types of things.
All right. This is going to be the last question that we're going to pull out of the audience because we'll start wrapping it up. Your position on Ukraine.
Fantastic question. So I've been on record for a couple of years now saying this. What happens to Ukraine, Taiwan will follow. Let me say that one more time. What happens to Ukraine, Taiwan will follow. Ukraine is the test. It is the test. Do we as Americans stand up and fight for democracy globally anymore? Or do we shirk our responsibilities? It has been the United States position that if a nation cries out for democracy, we will be there to answer the call. Ukraine has done that time and time and time and time again. We have to answer the call and support democracy. Russia is not our friend. Where do I sit on the issue with Ukraine? If we do not force Russia to move back to their territory, if we don't resist Putin, we give him victory. Under this administration, you're seeing it already. This is the first time in nearly 200 years that multiple European nations have mobilized their armies against the United States and moved them to mobilize. 3 nations mobilized their armies. They're in Greenland already to defend Greenland from a possible invasion. That is horrifying. The fact that Europe is now less defended than it needs to be from an aggressive tyrant like Putin. That is a quiet victory for Putin and Russia. So where do I stand with Ukraine? Trump is giving Putin all the victories he needs. We need to hold Trump accountable. We need to support Ukraine. We need to fight for Taiwan to be independent and democratic away from China's rule. We also need to supporting our friends across the globe who are fighting for democracy. That's what I believe.
Last question for you. When is your primary and what can we do to help?
That's a great question.
Right?
This is the part where I get to promote myself. So yeah, my primary is on August 4th of this year, August 4th, 2026. And here's the problem. We have a late primary in the state of Missouri. Nobody in the Democratic Party proper can endorse candidates in a primary. They have to wait until after the primary. That's tough. What that means is when I win the primary on August 4th, not only will I be the first Hispanic and Latin American, the first LGBT American from the state of Missouri to win a major party nomination to represent this state, that will happen on August 4th. We're only given 91 days until the general election. Kamala Harris had 107, and it was harder than hell for her to get the job done.
Yeah.
Right? Why we do this to ourselves, I don't know. But in my state, we have not flipped a congressional seat from red to blue in 34 years. I'm about to be 39. I was 5 years old the last time that happened. That's wild to me. We need to correct this ship. In 2026, we're going to undo 34 years of Republican rule. That's what we're going to do. So here's what I need everyone to help me out. Go to jordanjherrera.com tonight. Everything is there for you. My Facebook, my TikTok, every social media account you can imagine is on my campaign website. So is my merch store. Buy a yard sign, a t-shirt, some buttons, some stickers. That helps us out so much. You have no idea. Last, make 2 contacts with the campaign per day. Call someone. Tell someone new about us. Share one video. I post at least 3 or 4 times a day on 5 or so social media platforms. It's exhausting. But the information is out there. Just share it. Comment on it. Tag someone new in it. 2 contacts per day with Jordan J. Herrera, or go to the website, jordanjherrera.com.
Excellent.
Outstanding. Jordan, United States Air Force veteran,
Yes, sir.
running for U.S. Congress in Missouri District 4. If you or someone you know, someone you love is in District 4, get your ass out and vote for them, for Jordan. In August.
When you said outstanding, I literally was going to call it back to outstanding or out processing. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but that's what we had to do in my shop. It was outstanding or out processing.
It's been like 20 some odd years for me. So,
Okay, fair.
Jordan, thank you so much for being on Sons of Liberty. I definitely want to have you on again before your primary in August. So let's get that squared away, and we will circle back with you prior to that, find out what else we can do to help you get across the finish line in the upcoming days and weeks before that election.
Absolutely. I'd appreciate that. I'd love to be back on anytime. And if anyone's around Kansas City, Columbia, Missouri, or just north of Springfield, that's the region. If you're in there around Whiteman or Fort Leonard Wood, call them up and tell them to donate.
Fort Lost in the Woods.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the stream tonight. We appreciate that you spent some of your time. I know you're busy. You got precious little time before the first big day, and then after that you got November right around the corner. So I sincerely thank you for being on the stream, and I hope that we can have you on again real soon, real fast.
Yes, sir. You got it. Thank you so much.
All right, that's going to be our stream for tonight. Where is my stream schedule? I apparently lost my document. There it is. All right, so the next show that we've got next Tuesday, the 21st of April, we've got Resistor Vic Myers, who's running for Congress in Colorado's District 47. Following that, we've got Bree Woodson running in Georgia's 12th District. And then on May the 5th, we've got Robert People, also a veteran, running for Congress in Florida's District 15. And if you are in the Courage caucus, you're one of the Courage candidates with citizens impeachment, hit me up so we can get you somewhere on the stream, even if it's outside of a Tuesday night. Same for you, Jordan. If
Yes,
there's
sir.
a date that works better for you other than a booked Tuesday that we can get you on sooner, absolutely let me know. Anybody else that's running for Congress that's not, or actually just running for office, period, whether it's local city alderman, mayor, governor, whatever. If you're watching and you want to get on the Sons of Liberty live stream, hit us up, Sons of Liberty official at proton.me. That is my elevator pitch. Nib High football rules. 2 claps and a Rick. Woo! Good night, everybody.